Hey guys, Potates here. This video is highlighting a particular way you can build your character in Middle-earth Shadow of War. This build is the Torven build, which uses 4 set items from the Marauder tribe and 2 from the Feral. If you're all about collecting that fat loot and commanding an army of faithful beasts, this Torven build is for you. If you haven't seen my video on the full skill tree, check that out first, the link is below. The Torven build has you sending waves of enhanced beasts at your enemies, all the while collecting the increased cash they drop, which fuels your bloodlust. The more cash you get, the stronger and healthier you become. Your dragon sickness isn't a sickness. It leads to the destruction of your enemies by either fang, claw, blade, or arrow. So let's go through the pros and cons of this build, followed by the items you will need, and finally, the skills you should pick up. The first pro is that this build has a rounded damage set. It uses beasts, executions, ranged, poison, and fire, meaning that there will always be an enemy that you can damage, and most will have a weakness to it. This build is more deadly and sustainable as the fight continues. Picking up Mirian fuels your damage and gives you back health. Since you'll have a lot of followers with you, there are a lot of damage sponges around you as well, and you'll be focused much less than other builds. The build is also very mobile, having access to beasts and movement related skills. This helps you farm for items faster and get away from sticky situations. Finally, this build has a much higher chance to get the best items in the game and also has more ways to make money than any other build. This is easily the best build for farming items and having fun with preparing for the late game. With all the extra cash you'll have, you'll be able to spend it making your life much easier. The first con is that Beastmasters wreck your day, as beasts won't attack them and they will do increased damage and take less damage from them. Avoid this advanced class if you can. Let's just hope it isn't an overlord for you. This build is also very reliant on Mirian. At the beginning of a fight, when you haven't picked up any Mirian, you'll be very underpowered. If you continue to not pick up any Mirian, you'll continue to be underpowered, so you need to rely solely on your beasts in that situation. Also, this build is significantly weaker if you do not have any beasts to aid you. Example, you could be in an overlord fight and your beast and bodyguard could be dead. Finally, like all builds based on gear, you will be weak without it. You're investing points into skills supplementing farming, so they don't really help you in combat. So, you need more powerful gear of a player of equal level to be on the same power level. I bet you 10 pints you just nabbed the treasure I was after. So for this build you need exactly 2 items from the Feral tribe and 4 from Marauder. For those who don't know, legendary Uruk of a tribe will drop a set item based around that tribe. Which pieces you get don't matter as long as you have 6 item slots filled with 4 Marauder and 2 Feral. Some pieces of the set will give better bonuses, but you can only be choosy when you have enough pieces as you can't control what drops. Look out for pieces that increase the chances of Mirian to drop and pieces that increase the damage your beasts do. The Feral set focuses around buffing your beasts with each piece, and the set bonus lets you Shadow Mount an Unbroken Graug. This is especially strong in Fortress Sieges as you can swing the balance of power in your favor by taking away an enemy and adding an ally instantly. Also, Graugs and Drakes drop gems when dispatched, so being able to brand a Graug and then instantly dispatch will make farming gems much easier. With the first set bonus from the Marauder tribe, you will be getting an increased damage for picking up Mirian that should drop more often with the pieces of the set. Picking up Mirian when you have 2 pieces of the set will give you a 2% damage boost per Mirian. So if you pick up 50, you will get 100% more damage for 20 seconds. I can't stress enough how huge this boost is. The 4 set bonus will give you 2 health per Mirian. So if you get 50 Mirian, you'll get back 100 health. This is also a massive amount of health, and so Mirian now serves as a combat health pack. You'll be forced to pick up Execution first, and it's good to do extra damage to captains and instantly kill grunts. Use this whenever your might is built up and you need a little bit extra damage, at least until you get Venom or Cleansing Blaze. When you have 2 pieces of the Marauder set, pick up some Mirian and unleash an Execution on a key target to do extreme damage. Brace of Daggers adds a bit more damage into the mix and builds your hit streak, while Elven Light serves as an area of effect might spending move. We'll be back here later to upgrade this. So with the flat damage boost you'll be getting from the 2 pieces of the Marauder set, having a big area of effect damaging skill will be invaluable, as you'll be hitting a lot of enemies for exponentially more, outright killing most enemies with even a moderate boost. Ice Storm can be used to get through pesky savages and build might rapidly, and Consume can be used as a quick way to get health and arrows back when you have the Quiver of Souls upgrade to Drain. So weave it into fights when you have full might and need the boost. However, the reason we are in this tree is for the skill Treasure Hunter and its upgrades. Instantly picking up items and Mirian is core for this build, as with the Marauder set items, cash will be dropping off almost every enemy. So with the Treasure Hunter skill, you can just walk over the drops to increase your damage and heal if you have the 4 set bonus, instead of having to pick them up mid-battle. This is invaluable. So now upgrade Treasure Hunter to Discerning Eye. This is a treasure hunting build, so having an increased chance to find better items, like the set items you need for this build, will be incredibly useful, which is why we rush to it. When you find all Gondorian artifacts though, consider unlocking Prospector too, for when you want to go gem hunting. Let's finally head over to the mounted tree and pick up Caragor Rider. Pretty straightforward, lets us dominate and ride Caragors. We'll be back here later to upgrade it. Next, pick up Graug Rider, and it's another straightforward skill that lets you dominate and ride Graug. However, we're in the skill tree to pick up Call Mount. It's the reason we're here, so immediately upgrade it to Dire Caragor. This gives you the ability to summon in a trusty Dire Caragor to your side. It can howl to summon in more Caragor, it can sneak, it can stealth execute. This will be your primary method of attack with this build, riding in with a Paco Caragor at your side. With some of the Feral set, your beast allies will do a large amount of increased damage. This increase in damage is multiplied by picking up Bestial Rage. With Bestial Rage you can have your Caragor summon in more Caragors. Jump in on the newly summoned Caragors and have them summon in even more with a howl. You'll soon have a small army. Jump back onto your Dire Caragor and charge in Torven style. Unleash arrows and executions from the back of your mighty cat dog and watch the carnage. When it's time, jump off your steed and have him attack a key target while you mix in some might spenders and ranged attacks. When you pump off ranged attacks, you're going to need a way to get back those arrows besides Consume. So picking up Perfect Counter and then Rain of Arrows upgrade will keep you topped up, especially when you start using Shadow Strikes. Next, move over to the Range tree. Detonate helps exploit weaknesses on key targets and clear out grunts. Then pick up Freeze Pin, which lets you pin down fleeing targets or lock one down so your beast can maul him. Then pick up Bird of Prey, which is a bit of fun to use until we upgrade it. Which brings us to Mighty Shot. Mighty Shot is our primary means of spending might if you have the Marauder ranged weapon, and a way to spend your might if you don't. The ranged weapon gives you a 30% chance increase of getting Mirian off enemies killed by range, so we'll be back here to upgrade this later. Shadow Strike, which I've talked about at length, is a must if you're going this far down the ranged tree. It's probably the single most useful skill in the game, as it functions as a quick travel tool, a way to start fights, end fights, escape, regroup, instantly kill grunts, catch fleeing Uruk, and more. Since you now have Shadow Strike, you can move back to the mounted tree and pick up Shadow Mount. This lets you mount a broken or undominated beast from range. Very useful for this build, as you'll be jumping from beast to beast within your army. With 2 set bonus, you can instantly brand any Graug from range, which is a huge power swing. Your enemies will lose a Graug and you will gain one instantly with the cost of only 2 elf shot. Upgrade this to Caragor Breaker and now you'll be able to shadow mount unbroken Caragors as well. This, along with your Dire Caragor that can convert unmounted Caragor to your side already, will make sure you are the true Beastmaster of Mordor. While we're in the mounted tree, we might as well pick up Dragon Rider. Drakes aren't as hard to break, just a few range attacks to the head and you can shadow mount that sucker and lead your army from the back of a Drake. Not as cool in my opinion, so jump off it and back onto your Dire Caragor for a more personal approach. That being said, being able to easily remove a dragon from attacking you is why we pick this up. So let's pick up the upgrade to Mighty Shot now, Venom. This gives your ranged might spending option a bit more oomph. If you already have Marauder items and picked up some Mirian, then each tick of the poison damage will be increased as well, which is huge. Keep in mind, you can launch this from the back of your Caragor as well, making it so you never really need to dismount. If you use Cleansing Blaze on a target that has been poisoned, it creates Balefire, which is why we upgrade Elven Light to it now. You have Executions for flat, single target damage, you have Beast for crazy Fang and Claw damage, you have Venom for poison damage, and now Cleansing Blaze for fire. This is a good rounded set and not many Uruk will have immunities to all 4 and most will have a weakness to at least one of those. So this build is about gathering treasure and mighty beasts, but how do you gather faster? Well, you get some mobility skills. So first we're going to get Talon Strike, which lets you target the ground to teleport to it, letting you get around faster, start fights and escape. Your mobility wouldn't be complete without Elven Agility, so move over to the Predator tree now and pick it up. It also helps you get into and out of fights easily, as well as letting you traverse the world a little faster when you can't be on the back of your pet. If you aren't sneaking around on your Caragor, you aren't doing it right. But Brutalize gives you another means to start a fight with a large amount of might, ready to go. And Poison Tendril should be used on every grog barrel you see. Worst case, you don't need to use it and some random orc drinks it and dies. Best case, you end up near it with a key target and you can shoot it to set off a powerful balefire explosion. Both Wraith Chain and Deadly Spectre are other means to do some stealth shenanigans, but try to avoid moving around without your pets. If you absolutely must, retreat and find some caged beasts and dominate them. Right now, getting these skills is a means to get Death Threat, which you immediately upgrade to Vow of Violence. With this skill you can farm better items on the captains. If you need a Marauder set item, for example, find the Marauder captain and send him a death threat. If he doesn't immediately get to legendary status, help him complete missions or die to him over and over until he gets to legendary. Then kill him. Do it. Kill him. Fulfilling the requirements Vow of Violence gives you will net you even more rewards. Greedy dwarfs are gonna greed. Move back to the range tree now and pick up Shadow Strike Pull. Since this build isn't the most combat orientated, it starts off weak and gets more deadly as the fight continues. Sometimes it's best to pick your fights. In the case of Shadow Strike Pull, it lets you isolate key targets, especially useful in Overlord fights where you can pull them to the high ground and isolate them from their minions. Now grab the following story skill upgrades as soon as they are made available to you. So as soon as you unlock Drain, get Quiver of Souls. Since you'll be using a lot of range in the form of shadow mounts, headshots, mighty shots and more, getting ammo back without having to find it in the world is always useful. Now when you are low and have the might, use a consume for both health and ammo. You can also rush away, regroup and drain lone target. Mobility is highly sought after for this build, so upgrading Shadow Strider to Eagle's Eyrie lets you use Talon Strike mid-battle. jumping on orc shoulders and popping into slow motion mode, then looking around and targeting an orc with Shadow Strike or targeting the ground with Talon Strike means you can get out of even the most stickiest situations. Once you unlock Call Followers, upgrade it to Bodyguard. Why? Well, it's another pet. It's another pet that you can groom to suit your build. In your case, you can get a Bodyguard with a Dire Caragor mount, bonuses to beasts, or an ability to summon in a Graug or pack a Caragor. Usually a Beastmaster advanced class has these abilities. With your Bodyguard, you can have even more beasts that take advantage of the beast bonuses from your sets. So how does this build work? Well, it's probably one of the more straightforward builds out there. Your job is to have as many beasts as you can attacking with you and hold out until you get a huge damage boost. You do this by summoning in your Dire Caragor, which tames all untamed, unmounted Caragor around it, and have it howl to bring in backup. You then mount the backup and have them howl for even more. You then charge into the battle on the back of your pet, killing anyone in your way and picking up the loot that drops because of your Marauder set items. Why are you fighting with your faithful pets? To get that fat loot. Use your might to execute enemies from the back of your Caragor or launch off a Venom. Death around you will trigger your Marauder set items, dropping cash to fuel your health and damage output. When you dismount, start using Cleansing Blazes to propagate Balefire on the already poisoned grunts. Do whatever damage type you need to do to get Mirian to drop. Collect it and keep getting stronger and stronger. Eventually, you should be one-shotting grunts with regular attacks and dealing huge damage to key targets. Call in your bodyguards when things get dicey and watch him call in pets to aid you, all of which get your bonuses. If no Mirian is around and you're getting low on health, use a Consume, which also gives you back Elf Shot. If all hope is lost, vault over an enemy and jump into Eagle's Eyrie and then use Shadow Strike or Talon Strike to reposition. This build is fun and chaotic. This is the end of the build, so now it's your job to personalize the build in any way you see fit depending on your playstyle and the items you've picked up. There are a lot of choices and you can max out your character with all skills and abilities very late in the game, so don't worry too much. Thanks for watching guys, I have a ton more Shadow of War content coming very soon, so be sure to subscribe. Leave a comment below on the build you're going to run in Shadow of War as well, I'd love to see it. I'm Patates, and see you soon.